every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your midday Alabama forecast. Looking across the state, got scattered clouds across pretty much most of the state at this point. Good bit of sunshine out there as well. But we've started to have some pop-up showers and a couple of storms, especially in the northern and northeastern part of the state. So those are kind of scattered around pretty evenly in that part of the state. Most of them kind of east of 65 here. Got a few showers lingering and maybe a little bit of drizzle down in the southeastern corner near Dothan, and a little bit more cloud cover down there as well. But a lot of the western part of the state is still fairly dry at this point of the early afternoon. But take a quick radar tour. Got, again, scattered showers across good portion of North Alabama. Got some moving into parts of DeKalb County, also southeastern Madison County. Looks like one of the heavier cells there, kind of near the Limestone Madison County state line, pretty close to the airport there. So any flights coming in or out might be having to deal with that right now. But again, other just scattered showers, nothing looking too menacing at this point across the northern part of the state. As we move further to the south, again, more scattered showers coming in. We've got a bit of a kind of a wedge front starting to come in from the east that's helping to fire off some of these showers here near Jacksonville and Heflin, and then actually have a few more in Fayette County here that look a little bit heavier. But again, really just rain is the main thing with these right now. None of these look super heavy and don't look like what the ones that we've seen over the last couple of days have looked like, but it's still early in the afternoon, so we'll keep an eye on them. South central part of the state is actually probably one of the more quiet areas right now, although you just do have a few showers along the border here near Phoenix City and Valley, but other than that, pretty calm. Same thing for South Alabama. Again, there you got the scattered showers there near Enterprise and Sampson, but other than that, not a whole lot. And then as we move down towards the coast, those showers and thunderstorms that were off the Alabama coast earlier this morning have kind of moved further to the east and sort of fallen apart. And it looks like the beach at this point is pretty nice for this afternoon. All right, looking across our Skycam view here, Huntsville looking towards the direction of where you've got some of those heavier showers and storms starting to develop, and you can see some of that rain there off in the distance looking towards the west. The temperature is at 78 degrees, dew point at 72 degrees. As we travel around the state, Montgomery looking definitely warmer, 84 degrees, and the dew point at 73, and scattered clouds around right now. Again, this is one of the areas that not seeing a lot of rain action so far this afternoon. And moving a little bit further to the South Spanish Fort, beautiful out there looking across the bay towards Mobile. Just a few low clouds here and there. Some higher clouds off in the distance, maybe seeing a few towers starting to develop, but that's way far away at this point. And overall, Spanish Fort, nice right now. So what we're watching for the rest of this weekend and for next week is we're going to be still warm today, scattered storms around in a lot of parts of the state, especially kind of the eastern part of the state. And then as we get into tomorrow, a cold front's going to be passing through. We'll have, of course, scattered showers and storms that will come as part of that. Again, not looking like we're seeing anything too heavy with that at this point, but we will keep an eye on that. But a beautiful week ahead as that front ushers in a nice cooler and drier air mass that will be a nice, refreshing, hopefully fall preview as we get into the latter part of August. So temperatures right now along the eastern part of the state where we start to see more showers develop and more clouds in the area, it's in the low 80s, 82 degrees in Alex City, 82 in Auburn, 84 in Anniston, 81 in Eufaula. Further to the west, we're already hitting 90 degrees in Demopolis and Chatham. But again, we've got this little bit of a wedge front coming in from the east that's, I think, helping to kind of cool things down, fire off some of those showers. And so that's why you see some of that difference looking across the state. Looking at the Futurecast here, then again, scattered showers and thunderstorms starting to ramp up as we get through the rest of this afternoon. But it really, again, looking like they're going to stay fairly small and not getting really strong, at least in the northern part of the state. But down towards the southeast, there is the possibility as you get closer to Georgia, where there's more moisture in place and a little bit more fuel for the storms, that you could get some heavier storms near Eufaula and Dothan and parts of Henry and Houston counties and down towards Coffee and Dale counties as well, and Barber County. So that's definitely a place where we still could see some fairly heavy thunderstorms later on this afternoon and evening. As we get into tomorrow, this right here, that's kind of linear feature in the clouds, that is the cold front starting to push in. So scattered showers and thunderstorms out ahead of that. As you get behind the front, just a few scattered showers left over, but generally as we see, as we get into Sunday afternoon, we should be seeing any of that starting to end as far as showers as we get later in the day, and it'll continue to push down towards the southeast. So by the time we get into Monday, this is Monday afternoon, and you don't see a speck of precipitation across the entire state, and hardly any clouds either, as that air air mass, that dry air mass begins to move into place. Interestingly, with that little front coming in from the east this afternoon, we're going to have some gustier winds this evening. You can see as we take a look at our forecast wind gusts that could get some 10, 15 mile per hour, 20, maybe 20 mile per hour wind gusts with this little boundary moving over from the east, especially in the eastern and northeastern parts of the state. So don't be surprised if, even if you don't have a storm around, if it's a little bit windier than you would expect in August for this evening. So be probably sort of refreshing, I would imagine. Again, possibly that we could get possibilities, could get gusts up to 20 miles per hour or so with some of this. So something just to kind of keep an eye on, and it'll be probably in most cases pretty nice to see that as we get into later this afternoon and evening. Of course, we're always watching the tropics this time of year. The remnants of Erin are moving well off to the northeast, moving into the North Atlantic at this point. So that's just no longer a threat to the U.S., obviously, just moving towards Europe, and we'll be out of here. And we'll be continue to keep an eye on the tropics for the next week. And we've got this 100% chance region right here, and we expect this potential depression to become a depression probably later today, and then very possibly a tropical storm before the weekend is over. And we expect that if that were to occur, that will be tropical storm Fernand right there. Good thing about it, though, is it will be curving off and kind of like Erin did, but even further east than Erin, so really not affecting the U.S. at all, although Bermuda is going to be kind of sideswiped by that. And then looking down towards the south, this disturbance is going to be a 20% chance of development. It's getting into some high shear, and it's not going to be in a very healthy environment for tropical development over the next 7 days, but it'll continue to move off to the west. Models continue to show that it should stay fairly weak, and it'll stay far enough south that we will not have to worry about it in Alabama. Now let's take a look at our forecast dew points. So this will be kind of telling the story of when the front comes through tomorrow. So as we get into Sunday afternoon, or right around noon, that's going to be right as the front starts to head into the northwestern corner of the state and the Florence and Muscle Shoals area. And then as we get through the rest of the evening, you start to see, North Alabama by this point, north of 2059, by the time we get to Monday morning, the front has passed through and we got dew points in the 50s and starting to lower those dew points further to the south. And then as we get later into Monday and into early Tuesday morning, basically the whole state at this point, the front has passed through and we've seen those dew points reduced fairly dramatically, so that we've got a nice cool morning after that. All right, 7-day forecast will tell that story. Again, still warm today, scattered showers and thunderstorms around, a little bit smaller chance for tomorrow, and this is for North Alabama. And then look at those highs and lows for the next several days as we get into early next week. Low 80s for the highs, upper 50s potentially in a lot of spots for those lows. And then for South Alabama, again, we expect 80s and 90s to some spots for today with higher rain chances. Still some rain chances around for tomorrow as the front comes through. And then we see those rain chances back off quite a bit for a few days. And still, those highs are going to be lower than normal, drier air in place. And so it should feel really nice out there. Well, that's it for your state forecast for now. We'll have more on the Alabama Weather Network coming up.